Shomeres Yovam Shenoflo Nechosim. Okay, a woman, she's a woman waiting. She's a widow, and she's waiting for Yibum. And in this interim period, she inherits properties from her family. Okay? We had earlier, if a woman inherited properties before she was married, and then subsequently she gets just Kedushin. We said earlier, both Beisham and Beisil agree, if she sells them off, it's not a problem. Correct? What about subsequently she gets married? Then it's a whole different story. Beisham says, still Beisil says, no, if she sold it, it's okay. Prop she gets after she's married, even if she sells it, it's not valid. Now we're talking about she's semi-connected, right? Because she's a Shemeres Yovam. How do we treat her during this interim period? She's not free to be married, correct? So there's a linkage. What do? So Beisham Beisilo Modib Shomecheres Nosenes V'Kayum. That she's permitted. She sells it, she transacts, and it's valid. It's not post facto. There's no argument. What about now when she's Mesa? What happens if she should die? She dies before Yibum, and now let's talk. The husband, normally, if let's say Yibum would have taken place, in Nichse Malug, that means anything which was evaluated before the marriage, that goes into the Ksuba. Upon death, his death, it has to be returned to her. That's called Nichse Tzom Barzel. He could buy it, sell it, but when he divorces her or he was widowed, if she's widowed, the state has to repay her for the value of those properties when they were married. They're listed, those properties listed in the Ksuba. No, we don't have it in this. But we have Nichse Malug. Nichse Malug means the properties were not evaluated to be part of the Ksuba, so those are the properties being filled now. The principal is hers, he only gets the profits of those properties. So those properties are really in her domain, right? Because the property is always hers, even when they're married. He's just taking the profits. But whose property is it? It's her property. What goes into the Ksuba, what we call Nichse Tzom Barzel, it's called Barzel means, of course, they don't lose their value. It means upon divorce or his death, she gets fully compensated. But let's say he chooses to sell it off, he could sell it off. But when they're divorced, he has to give her full value reimbursement for that property. Okay? Let's say he has a property in Nichse Malug. Let's say they get destroyed by an act of nature. You know, it's her loss. It's over. He pays her nothing. All he's there is to take the profits. But the actual, the property, the principal itself, the building burns down, right? It's her loss. He has no obligation to restore the building. He doesn't have such an obligation. It's hers. He's there to take the rent, and maybe he can't abuse it, but he has no responsibility, okay? No. He only has to reimburse her the value when he married her. It's called Tzom Barzel. It's like iron. Just as iron really weathers all storms, those properties, regardless of what happens, she's guaranteed to be compensated for the value of property when she came into the marriage. Okay? That's Tzom Barzel. So again, if she inherited something during this period of time, she sells it, it's gone. She has a right. What about she dies? Mayasu b'chsuboso. Now, what happens to the ksuba? Ksuba, we're talking about the 200, let's see, she brought in the dunya, dowry into the marriage, the clothing, whatever it is, and nichse tzom barzel. That's what we're talking about, right? What about all the nichse meluk that she had with the first husband? The first husband. Who inherits her? Right? The family of the first husband or her family? If it's still, she's not considered the wife of the Yavam, so what happens if a woman dies? Let's say she was divorced, she would die. Her family inherits everything, right? But over here, she's semi-connected to the old family, and she's semi-independent. So we make a split. What's the split? So we have, what do you do with the properties written into the Ksuba, which is in the Dunya, and the Nichse Tzom Barzel, and the Chosim Nichlas Yotzim? What's it mean? She takes with her the same properties. When she enters now, she brings them in. When she leaves, she takes them out. Shami Omrim Yachloku Yorshei Abal Lim Yorshei Av. What does that mean? We'll see in a moment. That the heirs of the Baal and her heirs, they divide. Beisilda Omrim the Chosim B'Cheskoson Uksu B'Cheskas Yorshei Abal. What does that mean? The Nechosim mean the Nichse Tzom Barzel that remains where they are. Where are they today? Where are they today? They're in the family of what? Of her husband. And what if Nichsit on Barzel? The property is her property. That goes to her family. So it goes to explain. Nichsei, Nechosim Nichas Yorshi Abal. The Chosim and Nichnosim Yotzim the properties which Nichsim Lug, which she takes with her, and they're always intact for her. Becheskas Yorshi Ab, because that's hers. But what about the Ksuba? That's in the possession of what? Of the husband's family. So that they keep. Hiniach Ochiv Mos. Yeah? Now, the brother, now it's very interesting. The Ksuba of the widow, all the brother's properties will lean to it. Everything was leaned. But let's say a man marries a woman, he wants to marry, and now he has properties. He wants to sell off the properties, he has a right to sell off the properties. But he always has to leave something which is the equivalent of to cover the Ksuba, right? The Yavam, he ultimately will inherit everything from his brother. Even though they are the brothers, he will inherit everything if he actually takes her as a wife, the Yavam. But now, let's say he takes her as a wife. The Ksuba is paid from the estate of the first husband, because he's only taking over the first one's marriage. There's no new financial obligation. So all his properties that he had before he took over the brother's property, they're free and clear. There's no lien. No lien on his property. But what about the previous properties? Every bit of those properties linked to the Ksuba, he has no right to sell off anything. The husband is not permitted to sell off anything from the brother, because everything is there to guarantee the payment of the Ksuba. So let's say there's cash left over. The cash is linked to the Ksuba. So you know what he has to do? He has to sell it, buy something, fixed property, and that fixed property, that land, will guarantee the Ksuba should be paid. That if he should die or she should be divorced from him, every bit of that estate is attached to that Ksuba. The Ksuba is only $200, right? That's all it is. The property is worth $500,000. Doesn't make a difference. Every bit of that property is locked in to the Ksuba. You know, he's permitted to take profits, you know, like Nichsit Barzel. But in terms of the husband's estate, he cannot tamper with that estate. Until the Ksuba is actually paid out, can't do it. You'll hear. You buy property, he gets the profits. But what about what guarantees the Ksuba, which is the property? That has to remain. Peiros Tlushin Minakar. What about when he died, the harvest already was taken, was removed from the property? So there's like cash. Whether it's cash or it's right, it's receivable. Same thing. You lochman karka. You take the produce, sell it, purchase land. Again, vuchal peiros. What about a mechuborin lekarka? What about the harvest wasn't done yet, but you have fruits, you have produce on the field. Omra be shomin oson kamin yofin bepeiros kamin yofin shlo bepeiros. Vamosi lokal karka. Here. You make an evaluation. What is the property worth now? What will it be worth afterwards? Go ahead. Childless. Let's say there's only one surviving brother. Let's say there's one surviving brother. Make it simple. If he does Yibum, he becomes her husband. He takes over even though he may have other relatives, he is the sole heir of everything that the brother had. He steps into his shoes. Okay, now. Wait. Yeah, but he has no obligation. Everything carries over to him. That means all the properties he had cover that debt. He has properties. Let's say all those properties. Let's say he has his own properties, and let's say the brother, everything's destroyed. He doesn't have to pay her ksuba because he's taken over the previous person's marriage. It's only when you marry her. He didn't marry her. He did yibum. So whose marriage is this? The brothers. So the brothers' assets, they're responsible to pay that ksuba. His assets are not responsible to pay the ksuba. I mean, maybe if everything was destroyed, he has to, because the whole idea is that he shouldn't just divorce her. But as long as the assets, but the chiddush, what we'll say now, we'll see in a moment, every bit of the asset is, let's say a man marries a woman, he has $1 million worth of assets. The wife can't stop him from selling anything. Right? No, man's married the first time. Marries, there's a ksuba. The wife can't stop him from selling anything. Worst to worst, I sell it off. You go after the what's his name, after the properties. But over here, by the widow, because here the brother's taking over. If there wouldn't have been a brother, she would have paid out right away. So therefore, you can't in any way complicate our life regarding that ksuba. So therefore, whether it's cash, whether it's material, or whether it's land, every bit of that has to be preserved for the ksuba. You can't even sell off any of that. Cannot sell off anything. You can't. You can, if it's cash, you buy property, you get the profits, but the principle is preserved. The principle is preserved for her to get the ksuba. But how much do you need? Unless she's agreeable, she gives him permission, he's not permitted. Cannot sell. Okay? Whatever's attached to the property is his. We'll see. Zocha, 1 second. Kol hakodim zocha. Kodem hu zocha, kodmi yiloch men karka. Wochel peris. Okay. Konsa. He marries her. He does ibum. Hari kishkel chol dover. Right? She becomes his wife. He does ibum, becomes his wife. Bilvad, however, it is important, should take ksubos al nichse by the rishon. But the ksuba is what is attached to the first person's estate. Lo yoma lo hari ksubosech menachas al shulchan. He can't say, well, I'll take so much cash, I'll put it on the table, say, this will be for your ksuba, and I'll sell off the rest. Can't do that. Can't say ksuba is on the table. Can't do that. Elokol nechosov achrei l'ksubosa. Every bit of that estate is linked to the ksuba. He can't sell off anything. That's the level of security she has. Unless she's agreeable. Well, firstly, she's married to him. Right? You don't pay ksuba only, but he wants to. Yeah, if she's not agreeable, it's all locked in. The Gemara's going to say later, he makes a party, gives her a drink, he loosens her up a little, and she says, it's okay. He could do that. As long as she gives him the release, he could do whatever he wants. But if she doesn't give him the release, it's locked in. Okay? V'chein lo yom ha'odom lishtari ksubosech al munachs al shulchan elo kol nechosav achroin l'ksubosech. Okay? Everything is linked. Okay? What about Girsho? What about he divorces her? Once he divorces her, Eila l'ksuba. Now he gives it a ksuba. And now all the properties, outside, he has all the properties. Right? Because he did the yibum. Now let's say he remarries her. He divorces her, now remarries her. Harehi k'chol anoshim. Now she's no different than any other woman. Man marries a woman, writes her a new ksuba. The first time ksuba. Are his properties locked in? They're not locked in. Right? All you have is the ksuba. Right? Harehi k'chol anoshim elo elo ksuba levod. That's all you get.
So he has to rewrite it.
Okay? No, he writes her a new ksuba. But the nukes, when it means, all she has the ksuba means the land, the properties are not bound. It's all released. And even his own properties are released. They're not tied in. Okay? Now we have a new shiloh, which is not discussed in the Mishnah. What happens if she dies? Who pays burial expenses? The family of the husband? The family of the husband. No, that's the new Baal. That's the Baal's family, his brother, his grand, right? The heirs, his heirs or her heirs. Because they're getting something, he's getting something. Right? So who pays the expenses? Funeral expenses. Iboilu, mi koveris, mi kover. Who has responsibility to bury her? Yorshi Baal, Kavri Lo, the Karyasi Ksuba, right? The Yorshi Baal may have to, because they inherit the Ksuba, they get the Nechsitzon Barzel and whatever, the Nudunya. Oh, Dilma Yorshi Av, Kavri Lo. Why? The Karyasi, the Chos Nichnos and Yosim, because they get the Nechsim Malug. So since each one is a beneficiary of her death, maybe that's the reason you should assume the responsibility. So we're in a quandary. What do we do? Who has to assume that obligation? Omer Rav Amram. So Rav Amram says, Toshma, we learned in the Brisa. The Tanya, listen to the story. Shemeres Yovam, Shemeiso. Shemeres, this woman in waiting, she's a widow, Yibum has been done. Yorsheo, Yorshik Suboso. Those who inherit her, which ones? Yorshik Suboso. That means the husband's family. Chayov Mikruroso. They have to bury her. So because they're the heirs, they get the ksuba. Although Nichsei Mulug go to her family, the burden remains on her husband's family. Okay? Omer Abaye, Abaye says, Avanamitinyo. This is according to Brisa. We have a Mishnah. We have a Mishnah supporting what the Brisa says. That it's her husband's family that has to bury her. Why? Almon in the zone is Nichsei Yusomim. A woman's a widow. Now, a widow has to be supported by the family from the estate. That's part of the Pnai Ksuba, as long as she didn't remarry. It's like alimony. Here, we think they learn alimony laws, right? If she remarries, all her rights are gone. Okay. What about she comes to collect the Ksuba? She collects Ksuba. It means you have 2 feet out the door. All support stops. But a woman says, look, I'm not interested in remarrying. I'm not collecting the Ksuba. I'm not going out on my own. The family has to continue to feed her, to support her, provide residence, clothing, food, as long as the money's in the estate. They have to provide that, okay? Almoni zolos b'masi yisomim, nichse yisomim, u'masi yodeh shelen. Just as the husband gets the handiwork, her earnings, right? They also get the earnings. Okay? Vein chayov mikruroso. But they don't have to bury her. This is a wife. This is not a yavama. This is an almona. They're not obligated to bury her. Yorsheo yorshik suboso. But her heirs who inherit the ksuba, chayov mikruroso. Wait, we're quoting a Mishnah. They have to bury her. The somim don't, but the heirs who inherit, so much vezuhi. Almona sheish l'shniya. We have talked about 2 different yorshim. They're orphans. And what's this other case? Have you Omer? Zu Shomer Siyavam? We're talking, this is the Shomer Siyavam. I mean, she died. Zu Shomer Siyavam, and she dies. So exactly what we said. So what does it say over here? The ones, right? When she's alive, right? It says, Ve'echayv Mikrurosa, Yorshik Subasa, but the ones who inherit the Ksuba, that's her husband's family. They have to what? They're responsible for the burial. Omer Rava, so Rava has a problem. This one I have a little difficult how to read. Norman, I'll need your help with the art scroll. Omer Rava V'lema. When it says V'lema, who should say? V'lema achani yoresh, ishto ani kover. Right? Let the brother of the deceased, right? We're saying her because they inherited the ksuba, they have an obligation to bury her, right? So let the brother say, the surviving brother, who would have been the Yavam, she died. Right. Let him say, Achani Yoresh, I'll inherit my brother, but I'm not burying his wife. Ksuba Zushani Yoresh, Ein kan min nedunyas ovio klum, Elo masayim v'tosefet, shekosav lo ochi, Vereni Yoresh osa elo ochi. He says, if my brother would have been alive, he would have inherited her. Right? I'm inheriting nothing. What am I getting here? Right? Achani, Yoresh, Ishtroineni Yoresh. What am I inheriting? I'm getting the husband. If she would have been alive, he would have had to pay out the 200. Right? But everything else, what am I getting? Therefore, Omalei Abaye Shem Debono Lo B'Shnei Tzodim, because they have a claim against Nexetle. Im Ochiv Yoresh. Im Ochiv Yoresh Yikbar Sishto. I mean, if you're in the heir of your brother, bury his wife. Im Eni Kover Esishto. And if you're not willing to, you think Suboso. So then you should pay out the ksuba to the estate, to her estate, that her family should get the ksuba. Omalei Hochi Kamino. So Rabbi said, this is what I mean to say. Ochani Yoresh Esishto Eni Kover. He says, I inherit my brother, but I'm not burying his wife. Mishum ksuba. What he would say because of the ksuba? Lo din the ksuba likvos bichayim. He says like this. It's not I'm inheriting. You know, there's a concept. A penny saved is a penny earned. When does the husband have an obligation to pay out the ksuba? If he's alive. We're talking about the husband dies. Subsequently, the widow dies. Factually, the ksuba. Well, you're inheriting the ksuba. I'm not inheriting the ksuba. The brother is inheriting. They're inheriting the estate of the brother. So the money wasn't taken out because there was no obligation to pay the ksuba. So that's a basis why I should bury her. You're right. If the husband would have been alive, he would have had to pay out the ksuba. But he died and she died. So factually, there was never an obligation to pay out a ksuba. So where was the money when when she died? It was still in the estate. So if that's the case, why should he bury her? If the money would have been hers and he would have taken her money, right? He would have taken her money. Okay, so you took her money, you should bury her. The man says, I never took her money. I inherited my brother. Because if he would have been alive, he would have paid it out. It's true, but he never had to pay out the ksuba. So he says, Lo nidik ksuba likvos al michaim. Now, man shamet le the islay midrash ksuba. Who's the one who interprets what a ksuba means? We had this earlier. Shammai. You interpret the ksuba. It says in the ksuba, right? If I should die, you get paid, and if I shall not die, you don't get paid. If you should marry, if you're in my household, you'll be supported. But if not, not. Shaminu b'lei Shammai domishtar. Oh, who is it? It's Bei Shammai. What's Bei Shammai's position? Very interesting. If you have a shtar omid likvos, a document which I obligate, let's say you have a lender and a borrower. The lender has the document that he lent. When the lender holds that document, so the document's a viable document, it's meant to be paid at a certain, let's say the due date passes, and the man didn't pay. Who's considered the muhsik in the money? Is it the one who holds the document? Because we have a principle, a document that has the ability to collect, we see the document to be synonymous with the money? Or do we say no? Factually, it's the means to collect, but where's the money? The money is by the borrower. So the same thing here. She has a ksuba. Do we see the ksuba in her possession or in his possession? It's true. In the actual physical collection, that's only when you're alive, right? But over here, factually, she never collected. She never collected. So her having the ksuba, right? Her husband first dies. Let's see, she subsequently dies. She has the ksuba. Who's in possession of the equivalent of the money? So if you say the document is the equivalent of the money, so she's the possession. If you say that he right, that it's not, then not. He says like this. Shtaro mid likvos kegovui dami. It's not. Meisu balein achlo shosu. Here, a woman is a questionable adulteress. She sequestered herself. Now, if a woman's adultery, she forfeits the ksuba. Correct? Over here, the husband died before he was able to have a drink of water. So this will never be. Verify whether she was an adulteress or not. Does the estate of the husband have to pay out the ksuba? So you say, right? You say, but let's say you say that having the documents equivalent, you have the money. So who's the motzchavero? The estate has to be is the motzchavero. If you say the document is the equivalent of the money, that means she has the money. They want to take the money back from her. So they have to prove that she's an adulteress. But if you say that having the document doesn't mean anything, it's where the cash lies, so who wants to collect? She wants to collect. But you may be an adulteress. You prove to us you're not an adulteress, then you get your ksuba. So that's the machlis b'sham b'silu. Meisu balein achlu shosu. The husbands died before they were able to administer the water, and if the husband's not alive, you can't any longer. So this will be a question which will never be resolved. Beishami omrim notlux ksuba. For those shosos, they collect the ksuba, although they don't drink, right? Because you can only drink if the husband's alive. Beisil omrim o shosos o notlux ksuba. Yeah, either you drink, it's A or B. You drink and it's proved you're not an adulteress, or you collect. Smar says. Over there by the sota, yeah, the husband died. Okay? No, we'll speak in a moment. No, we'll see. Yeah. No, not she died. No. That case by Beshami, no, she didn't die. She's alive. He died. He originally brought it to the Kohen, and they were about to drink the water, and then he died. He had a heart attack. So therefore, it'll never be resolved whether she's an adulteress. So the question, does she collect the ksuba? Right? Beshami says yes, Beisil says no. So Beisil says, look, A or B. You want your ksuba? Well, let's first prove that you're not an adulteress. You can't prove it? You can't prove that, then you get nothing. Right? So the Gemara says, "Oh, shosos." What do you mean? He says, either you drink or you get the Gemara asks somebody, "What do you mean? Either you drink?" It says in the Pav, "Evi or ish es ishto la kohen." The husband has to be alive. So how can we still say either you drink? Yep. So it means like this. Besilda means factually elo. Bitoch shloshosos. Since the prerequisite to verification is the husband has to be alive, so Besilda says if that can't be, if she can't drink, that means you don't get the ksuba. Right? The husband died by the sota. So there's no way she could drink, correct? Because only the husband has to bring it to the Kohen. The husband had a heart attack on the way to Yerushalayim. Right? First class El Al, he doesn't make it. Okay? Mitoch lo shosos, lo dos ksuba. Bishami omrim not los ksuba. They get the ksuba lo shosos. Vamai, summarize the question. Sveikohu. Well, how could she get the ksuba? It was never resolved. There's a suffix, she may be an adulteress. Right? Suffix zanoi, suffix lo zanoi. This question, did she commit adultery or not? So how does Beishamai say she collects the ksuba? Somewhere says, "Kosi suffix must be devadai." How could a suffix extract where the money? It's definitely the husband's money. You want to collect. It's a question whether you have a right to collect. Who ever heard of such a thing? We have Prince Amos Kavel of Araya. If I want to collect from you, who does the burden of proof lie on? The one who wants to collect. So here the burden of proof should lie on the woman, right? Because she may be, if she's an adulteress, she doesn't get a ksuba. So they should say to her, prove to us you're not an adulteress, then we'll talk about paying you. But Beishamai says, no, she collects. So what must we say Beishamai? So Beishamai, shtarom ligvos gegavui. That Beishamai goes, no, when you have that document, the document is the equivalent of the money. You know what it is? I'll give you an example. I write you a check. And then after a question arises, do I owe you the money? The check is an instrument of money. It's a monetary instrument. But you realize, you have to collect it from the bank. Doesn't make a difference. You got that check, that means you're owed the money. She has the ksuba, she is owed the money. You say, well, I no longer owe it to you. So you have the burden of proof is on you. So that's Beishamai's understanding. When you have a viable document, initially it was viable. You want to remove it from her. The burden of proof lies on you. You can't take it away from me until you prove that I'm an adulteress. That's the argument Beishamai say. Beishamai say. What if she's an adulteress? No, wait. Exactly. Before the husband died, was the wife permitted? What the Torah says? What's the state of a woman it's questionable whether she committed adultery, and the only way to verify is she has to drink water. What is her status? No, she's not great. Until proven, she's guilty. Sufik kivadai. Howard. Sufik kivadai, the Torah says. Even though it's normally sufik is a sufik. Here it's sufik kivadai. Even though it's questionable, we treat it like a definite adulteress. So for all intents and purposes, she shouldn't get it. But factually, but in fact, it's a suffix. Factually, it is a suffix. So if, let's say it's a suffix. You claim I broke your window, and it's questionable. 2 witnesses say you broke the window, 2 witnesses say you didn't break the window. Could you collect from me? You go to court. You can't. Why? Because who does the burden of proof lie on? If I'm not a damage, I don't owe you, correct? So, but you claim I did break it. You could claim from today forever, unless you prove that I could. But I have 2 witnesses, but it's only a suffix. The burden of proof lies when you're in doubt, lies on the one who wants to extract the money. So you get nothing. Same thing here. Factually, it's a question, did she commit adultery? If she committed adultery, she gets no ksuba. Adulteress doesn't get a ksuba. She did not, she does. We have a question, did she commit adultery? Now that the husband dies, it will never be resolved. So Korn Beisil says, you know something? It's a regular motzchevel over raya. Burden of proof lies on her, and she wants to get the ksuba. And there's no way to prove it. You know something? Wait for Mashiach, he'll tell you whether you committed adultery or not. That's it, you got to wait. Beishamai says, no, but when she has that ksuba, it's like she already collected. She has the key to the safety deposit box. So now when you don't want to pay it, you claim, why don't I want to pay it? Because maybe the document was invalidated. But you know, that's a maybe. So you want to take away my document. But I'm in possession of the document. So therefore, that's why they have to pay it out. No, but it's still a question regarding monetary. It's still a question.
Is the husband of the person who makes the claim, or when
Only the husband.
only so when he's the witness? So if he's the witness,
He's not the witness. He's not the witness. He
he's
forewarned her.
what?
He forewarned her, and he said,
But he's not there. So what is he at that point? He's the accuser. So the accuser's not there.
it already, no, it doesn't mean he already, her state of sota came into being when he was there.
He was alive.
Okay, that's it. You don't need more than. Now he dies. It's irrelevant. She's a sota. She's a sota who needs the water to
Right.
verify what happened,
Now she can't drink unless he's there.
unless he's alive.
Right. So when he's gone, so now the whole.
So you have the irresolvable question. No problem, right?
No, good clarification.
Only she knows and God knows. Nobody else knows. Also the adulterer knows.
Yes.
Okay? One second. So now the Gemara asks a question. We said that the reason why the Yavam has to bury her, the family of the Yavam, so the Gemara says, because he gets the ksuba. So the Gemara says, but you collect the ksuba b'chayim, right? When he's alive, he never collected the ksuba, right? But factually, what does it say in the ksuba? When you marry another person, that's when you get. When you're ready to marry another person, that's when you get the ksuba. She was never in position to marry anybody else, right? Then you'll get what's written in the document. Yeah, this. The Yovam, even though he's taking over the marriage of the husband, but what the husband was saying, that she, as a Yavama, she has a right to take the ksuba. So we already see the ksuba like it's in her possession. Of course, says when you're in a position to get married, but it's a brother, doesn't make. But he's still not the husband. So that's meeting the criteria. One second. The kevod she mises habal linos liyovam, she already has a claim. And since he's taking that, yes, the whole question was like this. It says, because he gets the ksuba, therefore, he has to bury her, right? So the Gemara says, but he never collected the ksuba. Like a penny earned, a penny saved, but factually he never collected the cash. Because the state never paid it out. No, because the moment the husband dies, and there's a yavam, that means the state owes her the money. She's ready to have yibum. Ready means you're ready to get married. That means the state at this moment is linked for the ksuba. So now she dies. So who's taking? You're taking that lien. Right? Taking the liens. That means you took a ksuba. You took the ksuba, you got to bury her. The yavam. No, the husband didn't die. We're not talking about the husband. The husband didn't die. The husband didn't die. She died. We're talking about she died. The husband dies. She's a Yavama. Okay? Now she dies. So we have a question, who buries her? The Yavam or her family? Because he inherited and she inherited. So we say he has to pay the funeral expenses. The Yavam. Why? Because he got the ksuba. What do you mean he got the ksuba? Ksuba, the moment to pay it out never came about. Because when do you pay it out? Death or divorce. That means when the Yavam dies. Or if the Yavam marries and chooses to divorce her. But there was never a time, it came a time to pay it out. The answer is no. The moment the husband dies, she's bound to Yibum. And it says in the Ksuba, when you're ready to get married, you owe the money. So if there's a Yavam, that means she's ready to get married. Right? Because that's the obligation of Yibum. No, the answer is, that is. It's like the ksuba already is in reserve for her. So we see the ksuba as what? As being taken out of the land. You following? Before the woman gets married, married to the first husband, where's the ksuba? If he should divorce her or he should die, and she's ready to get married, the ksuba it has to be paid. Let's just say, I'm not ready to get married. I'm not interested in getting married. So for all intents and purposes, the ksuba has never been activated. It's like, you activate a credit card. You don't activate the card, it doesn't mean anything. You activate it, now there's a line of credit. You can activate the line, you can't activate the line. Until the woman says, I'm ready to get married, the lien is not real. You understand? It's not real. See, with this, it's very good. It's very good. We had earlier, if a man's married to a woman and he has assets, he wants to sell them off. He could sell them off. He said, what about my ksuba? So you know something, you go after the buyers. But we said the estate that he takes over, the yavam, that estate, every bit of that property is locked into the ksuba. He can't even sell it off without her permission. Why? No, because the answer is because already it's been activated to pay off. If you got to pay it off, you can't just sell it off. By the husband, there's no obligation to pay it off yet. It says, look, when you're ready to get married, I have an obligation to pay you. So, but the first time the wife is married to a man, although the land is linked to the ksuba, if upon divorce or death, but you know something, nobody's dying and nobody's ready to get married. So therefore, he sells it off. What about the yavam? Her husband dies, now there's a yavam. Now, she's ready to get married because there's a yavam. That means it's been activated. So now you have, at this moment, you have a financial debt. What are you selling it off? Pay off the debt, then we'll talk about selling off properties. Therefore, it's considered that he took her money. You took her money, you bury her. Okay. So she's in an interim stage. To pay what? No. Only if he gives a chalitza. Let's see, does Ibum now? She's locked in. Doesn't make a difference. It's death or divorce. So because there's a yavam, she's stuck. She's locked in there. She's locked into that position. It's locked in. It's like it's in an escrow account. The ksub is in an escrow account right now. Till now, before the husband dies, the ksub is not an escrow account.
And the brother picks it up as soon as
he picks it up. No, the properties now, he takes over the properties, but those properties, all he could take is the profits of those. He can't sell off those properties because those properties are synonymous with the debt. Right. It's good. Very, very logical. See, if we wouldn't have I'm serious. You know, if we wouldn't have the concept of a credit card or a check, which one time never existed, you didn't have all this. Like the Chofetz Chaim says, you know, Hashem has to allow certain things to manifest themselves to be able to relate to certain things. Shows how limited we are. So we need these examples to be able to understand the Gemara. Sholach li Rov el Abaye biad Reb Shmaya bar Zero. Rov sends a message to Abaye through in the hand of Reb Shmaya bar Zero. V'chin nosna rishus umi nosna ksuba ligvos michayim. Abaye made a statement before. A ksuba only you collect a ksub michayim. That was the original question. So that he said because the yovam is like an acher. Botanya, Rabba Omi Sha'alti is sumchis. Yeah. We learned that Rabba says ayeh sumchis. Sumchis was the dayan, one of the dayan of Yerushalayim. Harotz l'shimkar b'nichsei aviv. Ketzrosa. Hear this? A man goes, he does yibum, and now he has the brother's estate, and the man is pressed for cash, and he wants to sell the estate. So he can't do it because it's locked into the ksuba of the wife. Who osa law, ketzur osa law, im kohen who, hear this, if he's a kohen, yasa suda, yifayis. So Rashi says, if he's a kohen, he makes a banquet for her, serves a lot of wine, she drinks a little bit, she gets a little loose, comfortable, and he gets her in a good moment, she'll give him permission to sell. Take a look at Rashi. Here. See, he can't. See, there's one way to do it. What happened? We said in the Mishnah, if he divorces her, the ksubas payouts immediately, so he takes the balance. The only reason why I can't sell is because I have a debt to pay. But since I'm not ready to pay the debt, I can't take all the properties are bound to that debt. Correct? But what do? Divorce her. And if you want to remarry her, but if he's going, he doesn't have that option. See what he does? He makes her a party, cost him a few $1,000s. Yeah, and he serves wine, Rashi says. Right, you see? Right? Mishtayayin. Through drinking wine. And then she'll give him permission. What about it? So therefore, a Kohen doesn't. What about his Yisrael that he could remarry his divorcee? You know what he says to her? You don't want to give me permission, I'll divorce you. Then I'll remarry you. The moment I divorce you, I have an obligation to pay out the ksuba. Once I pay out the ksuba, the balance, what's left is his. Finished. Then I'll remarry her. That's the way to do it. Okay? Im koenu yasasuda v'yifayis. He makes her this banquet, and he appeases her. Im Yisraelu megarish beget. He divorces her. V'yarzi. Then he remarries her. He says, if you tell me the ksuba is due when she's alive, you collect it only then. He says, well, no problem. If we're saying that the ksuba you collect michayim, right, when he's alive, so set aside an amount of money of the brother's estate and say that can't be touched, right, and sell the rest. No, but but only how much do you put in the escrow account? Right. The amount of which you cover the ksuba, twice the ksuba. Good. But all the assets, sell off the rest of the assets. Bashar Lisbon. See, if you say the obligation hasn't yet come about, yeah. 1 second. He says, and according to your understanding, what he says, what kind of question are you asking me? Abaye is asked a question. Who's asking this question over? He sent it via Abaye. Rega? 1 second. Rava. Rava is asking a question to Abaye. Right? He says, what do you What are you asking? Ask from the Mishnah. Lo yoma v'harek subosach menochas leichal hashulchan. What does it say in the Mishnah? The surviving brother can't say to the Yavama, I'll put the money on the table for you, and I'll do what I want with the estate. Can't do that. So what are you asking me from a brisa? Ask from the Mishnah, right? If you ask a question, what's a better source to ask from? From the Mishnah. Mishnah is more credible. I'd say, maybe the Mishnah means it's good advice. Good advice, don't do it. It's not the right thing. Says a person shouldn't even do it to his wife, but you could do it to your wife. So it's only good advice, don't do it. Because you know why? Because if something's happened to that money, you're not going to be able to pay out the ksuba. He says, what are you talking about? A man gets married. You mean he can't sell off his assets? He can sell off his assets. So when we say, you shouldn't say to your wife, I'll put money aside and I'll do what I want. It's just giving you good advice that you should make sure that your wife is secure regarding the ksuba. Hochanami still kamash malon. So the Mishnah say the same thing regarding the Yavama. Right? Kamash malon? No. we see from the Bryce note he's not allowed to do it. It's not an Eitz Tova. Lo yimkor. Lo yimkor means he's not permitted. Yeah. So versus Elud Rababa Kasho. Right? Rababa, it's difficult. He's going Adam Garish lo Niachad lo Shari Gershon Yenai Heim Lishneim. Taimed lo Niduk Subo Lagvos Michaim. Elud Rababa Nami, the Rababa Nami lo Kasho Mishum Evo. Yeah, says very good. The whole question is, if Ksub is Legovas Michayim, so what are we saying by the Yovam? By the Yovam, if he's a Kohen or Yisrael, he can't what? Let him put aside the money. You know what the answer is? The answer is he could. But it'll create Ava. Ava means animosity. You know why? Why are you putting aside the money? Because she says, because he has in mind he wants to divorce me. He wants to get rid. Because what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Paying off the ksuba already. We're just getting married. You're talking about we're going to put away money to what's his name? You know what this reminds me of? It's unbelievable what we've come to. The whole idea of a prenup. You're first getting married and you're worried about a divorce already. But that's exactly what they're saying here. Why lock the husband in? Right? Put away some money. The answer is no, because if you make that suggestion, what enters the woman's mind? He's already planning to get rid of me. Right. Therefore, it's not good for the relationship. I'll tell you, when the prenup started, right away, people, if you from families where they get divorced and married every other day, it's not a problem. But regular, normal families, person all of a sudden is marrying into a wealthy family, they say, we'd like a prenup. The guy was taken aback. Never heard of such a thing. Because his circles, whoever heard of prenup. So what does that mean? You're already questioning whether this is going to last the marriage. So what does that say? They're going to lock me in. They're going to dictate my life. And if it's not going to work, they're afraid I'm walking out the door. So they're ready putting me in shackles. It's interesting. There was a certain person that